Hungry Fish Media presents the new podcast On Mission. You know, we are all hungry and eager to help and do what we can during these uncertain times. But there are a few people going above and beyond doing exactly that in these extraordinary set of circumstances. Karen and I thought it would be the perfect time to launch a podcast featuring these amazing individuals and their stories. So friends, welcome to On Mission. Good morning, On Mission. Karen and I are so excited to bring you this podcast, right?
Yes.
We're going to be sharing a lot of inspiring and encouraging stories over the next month and a half as we roll this out, and we're just so excited. So thank you in advance for all the views, all the likes, all the shares, all the encouragement. It means a lot to us. So with that being said, welcome to the very first episode of On Mission.
We are very excited to introduce you to our next guest.
Our first guest.
Our very first guest. Jordan, also known as JJ. She runs Whip Pediatric Cancer, which is a nonprofit that raises tons of money for pediatric cancer research and brings joy to so many cancer families.
So many.
We have had the pleasure to get to know her this last year while our daughter's been treated at Memorial Sloan Kettering Hospital in New York. And JJ, we are so excited to have you. You bring so much joy to so many, and you're such an inspiration. We're excited to have you. We're thrilled to have you.
So welcome.
Welcome.
Well, before we jump in, well, it's been a while since we've seen you, hasn't it?
I know, it's been so long. Too long.
We've seen you last week.
I know.
Yeah, we were scheduled to be in New York for Hunter Rose's last vaccine treatment, but due to the coronavirus, it's been rescheduled for another time. So before we jump into talking about Whip Pediatric Cancer, why don't you just, I know this may seem a little weird because we already know you, but but why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself, you know, where you were born and raised, your family life, college, just anything you want to share.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jordan, or as all the kids and families call me, JJ. I'm 20 years old. I'll be 21 in like 6 weeks. I am a junior at the University of Tampa. I'm finishing up my last semester of junior year, currently online. And I was born and raised in Long Island, New York.
So you said you're finishing up your last semester online. Is that due to the coronavirus, or was that already part of your plan?
That's due to the coronavirus. So I was at school doing regular learning, and then because of Corona, they decided to put everybody online because it's not safe to be in the dorms.
So I may be confused. So you say are you graduating? You have one semester left?
I have a whole year left, but one semester left of junior year.
Flies.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay, so born and raised in New York?
Yes.
Going to school in Tampa?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so let's just jump in. Tell us a little bit about Whip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can start by sharing, your mission, and then we can jump into some of the stuff, amazing stuff that you do. Yeah.
Okay, so Whip Pediatric Cancer is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our mission is to raise awareness and funds for pediatric cancer research while also like providing smiles for families that are going through a very difficult time, like you guys know. And while our main mission is to raise money to cure these kids, we also like to do fun things here and there as we can and go on visits and see the families. So that covers like the big umbrella of what we do.
And behind you, that is your storage house, right?
Yeah, this is our storage room with toys and that have been donated each year for Christmas. My dad's business, they collect toys for the kids so that we can bring them throughout the year when we go on visits.
We have benefited from that. Thank you so much. Just to clarify something for the audience, you said you provide smiles. You're not talking about dentist visits.
You spend a lot of time, which is
so we like my favorite part actually of the foundation is getting to know the families and getting to visit with the kids, and like during a really dark time in their life, like I think it's important to like go and like lift their spirits and see them laughing and like just forget about what they're going through for the time being. Like you guys have seen with like Hunter and Reader, like just when we go to visit, they kind of forget like why they're in New York and like why they're at the Ronald McDonald House. And it's just like they're just having fun and smiling and being normal kids.
Yeah, that's amazing. You know, I mean, there are a lot of organizations
that help. They just don't
that help.
provide their time.
But that
And
personal touch that you do is just amazing.
Thank you.
And you make the siblings feel just as loved.
Because they are.
You truly are Hunter Rose's hero. Trust me.
And she's mine too.
So
tell us about the Heart of Gold and Skate for Gold and the walk you do for MSK.
Okay, so the Heart of Gold program is our main fundraising initiative, and that is where we use our logo, which is a gold heart, and we ask schools to sign up, and we say, like, sign up on our website and you get a free Heart of Gold kit, and you're able to request the number of students that you have, so the number of hearts that you need. And then the school passes out the hearts, and each student will like write their name, decorate it, and then they bring in a suggested $2 donation back to the school, and the school will display saying like blah 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 school has a Heart of Gold. So it's raising awareness and funds, and it's teaching kids like they're never too young to make a difference, and kids helping kids. And even like if there's 200 students in the school and everyone gives $1, that's $200. So you don't need to donate $1,000 to make a difference. Like even $1, $2, $5, like that all adds up. So it's a really good way to get kids involved with fundraising and feeling like they can make a difference, and just you don't need to be a grown-up to start something or something. Like I was a kid when I started Whip Pediatric Cancer. Like if they have an idea, they should like go for it, because you really don't know, and kids are pretty powerful. So
tell us,
that's the Heart of Gold.
How many states?
Each year we've had every state participate except for Utah for some reason.
Except for Utah, we're calling you out right now.
Yeah. So if you know anyone,
the Heart of Gold program.
Yeah. So, but for the past 4 years, we've had every state, and then even like other countries have participated. So that's been pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. So
yeah.
I have to state the obvious. Okay. So how old were you when you started this?
I was 16 years old when I started with pediatric cancer.
Okay. So what would motivate a 16-year-old to like launch a nonprofit for cancer kids?
So as the story goes, my mom was diagnosed with pediatric cancer when I was 2 years old. So we always have been involved with pediatric cancer families, and she was treated as an adult on the pediatric floor at Sloan Kettering. So she would always like watch like these kids and families like going through this. And when she got better, she was like, we need, as a family, like our mission is to like help other people that she saw and was affected by. And she would always bring us to like bring cookies to the hospital, or like go and visit a family that she met or something like that. And I was always very drawn to these kids. And when I was like 7 years old, I like started like making bracelets and coloring on shells and hosting a lemonade stand. And I like wanted to help, but I would raise like $20, $40, stuff like that. And then the kids that I got close with when I was like very young were passing away, and I like was just so angry, and I was so young, and I like didn't really understand. And then like as the years went on, I just was always involved. And then in 2015, everything, like I always say, everything clicked because it was a social media challenge. But I noticed how popular the song Watch Me Whip, Watch Me Nay Nay was becoming, and I was like, there has to be something here. So it allowed, that song and dance was the start of the Whip Pediatric Cancer Foundation and everything. And it gave me this platform that I've now been able to like help all these families, raise all of this money, whereas before I wasn't really able to. I mean, I didn't have that much of an outreach when I was selling shells in my neighborhood. It was just the few neighbors that would walk by and donate $1 here and there. So yeah, I just always wanted to do more.
Wow.
So how much money have you raised?
So far we've raised over $406,000 for pediatric cancer research.
Man,
Yeah.
we
That's
look up to
crazy.
you, girl.
Thanks.
I'm looking at our questions over here we got on up.
What motive? Okay, we did motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how are you feeling right now? Like for us, it's probably a little different, living through this coronavirus, right? We're in I'm in my 40s.
Gosh,
We're in our 30s.
gosh.
We have kids. What I'm trying to say is that, you're a young person and you're probably a lot more social than someone like us. So how are you dealing with, being away from your friends? How are you staying connected and dealing with this?
It's been hard. I mean, I live in New York, obviously, and you guys are in Washington. So it's like the big coronavirus hot spots. It's been really hard just like watching the news and being unsure and stuff like that. But thank goodness for FaceTime and Zoom. Like I've been able to keep in touch with friends and kids from the foundation and families like you guys, and see my professors on Zoom and stuff like that. So we're trying to make it as normal as possible throughout this huge crisis, but it's a very scary time for everybody.
A couple of weeks ago, we saw, quite a few people down in Florida where you were going to school, out in spring break at the beaches. Have you been tempted to hang out in person with any of your friends?
No, like since the beginning, I was like, get me out of the dorm. I'm going home. And I was like,
to have a conversation with your mom.
No, I told you, JJ would not go out.
Yeah, no, since the beginning, I've been like texting my friends. I'm like, why are you at the bar? Like, that's just not like, you don't know who's around you. Like someone could be carrying it. Like it didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, why? I'm like, because it's hard. Like I always say, like what I've seen and gone through, it's like if somebody from the foundation were to get the coronavirus, like this is fatal for them. So like for like a 20-year-old college kid, like, yeah, maybe they'll get it and it'll be okay. But like for somebody like Hunter or like anybody that has a suppressed immune system, like they might not be okay. So you have to like stay home for people like Hunter. And like, it's very frustrating that everyone's like, well, I'm 20, so it's fine. Like, I'll be fine. Like, I'll take precautions, but like, it doesn't matter if you're taking precautions, like it's going to affect people that I care about,
That's refreshing to hear you say.
Yeah, no.
There's a lot of young people and a lot of old people just don't get it. I think more and more are starting to get it because of, how serious it's becoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you've obviously seen a lot. If you're 20 now and you started this when you were 16, you've been going since you were young. How do you deal with all the loss and the hurt that surrounds pediatric cancer?
That's a hard one. So I've like been having a hard time like separating like Whip life and then like being a college student life, but it's definitely affected me, like seeing what I've seen, like hearing the kids screaming, like watching the kids dying. Like it's been very, very eye-opening, and not most people don't ever see that in their life. So like sometimes like I'll like get hung up on like different things because of what I've seen where other people don't really understand. But the like going through all these losses, like it doesn't get easier. Like it's not like, oh, I've already been through this. Like each kid sucks more than the last one. Like it's just every like time somebody passes away, like it really affects me. But the best, like what I do to keep moving forward is like, I know like Tessa would want me to keep visiting. I know Corey and Charlotte and Karma and everybody would want like other kids to benefit like they did. So like that's what really keeps me like, okay, I still have to do this. Like just because this person passed away, like this is what they would want me to do.
You're using it as motivation.
Well, we're forever grateful for that.
You inspire us. Like,
Mm-hmm.
We've been through the stage 4 cancer treatments, and just seeing what you do with your life has inspired us to want to help give back.
Mm-hmm.
And it is hard. Like, man, but So you inspire and encourage a lot of people. What motivates and inspires you? Who inspires you? You have a really good family support system.
That question, when I read it, I was like, I've never been asked this question out of all my interviews, but I'm not sure. So I have like two answers kind of. So I would say like a huge motivation for me has been country music, and I know, really weird.
I can relate. Come on.
I like will find a song and I'm like, okay, like this is my like mantra, and I kind of just like listen to it over and over and over, and I'm like, this really like inspires me, and I'm like, I'll like play it in the car. I'll be like, Dad, like listen to these words, like this section right here is like exactly why I do what I do, or like this is how I feel about like losing Tessa, or like losing this person, and it just like I will think of a song and listen. So that has been a very big inspiration. But if I have to pick like a person, like most people will say like, oh, a celebrity or somebody like that. And I mean, obviously everybody knows from the page and just how often I talk about her, but Tessa was one of the first kids that I visited when I started with pediatric cancer. And just watching her like fight for her life, a stage 4 cancer, just with so much grace and like resilience. And she just she would get her poured out and then she'd be doing cartwheels in a restaurant. Like she just really like didn't let the disease define her, and she really every day like would wake up with a smile on her face, like no matter like how bad she felt, she still wanted to like play a game or put makeup on and stuff like that. And then even watching her like in her last days of life, she still like wanted to bake brownies, and she still like wanted to give hugs and watch a movie, like all the way till the end. Like she really stayed so strong. And like when I think like, oh, like maybe I should give up, like this is getting too hard, or I'm not reaching as many people anymore, like I think of her and like what hardships she went through, and how she just never like stopped. Like she woke up every day and was like, okay, like this is like kicking my butt, but I'm gonna kick it back. And I think like she's just been like one of the biggest inspirations. All the kids have been, but especially watching her.
Had a special bond. You guys were really close.
Yes. So.
Okay, well, I have to ask. Country music. I got to go back to the country music. New country fan, or are you old school? George Strait, George Jones?
I dabble in a little of both. Like I like the Thomas Rhett, Luke Bryan, like those Chris Lane, like those new country guys that don't even wear cowboy boots. But I also do like the George Strait and Brad Paisley type country music. But yeah.
Well, how can the viewers help? How can they
if they want to get in touch with you or be a part of the Heart of Gold or anything that you got going on, how can they get in touch?
So I check emails regularly, can't say that word, and I check Facebook all the time also. So I set aside time throughout the day to respond to the messages that come in all the time. So if you want to talk to me directly, I run everything: website, Facebook, Instagram. That's me, my accounts and everything. So you'll be able to talk directly to me. And then
what's your Facebook?
My Facebook, it's just Whip Pediatric Cancer. And then if you want to make a donation, you can make a donation through the website whippediatriccancer.org, and all money goes directly to Sloan Kettering. And then some people have asked if they can donate more towards like the family aspect of it, like getting a toy or taking a family out for dinner. So in that case, if you like message the page, we will send you an address to send a check to the Whip Pediatric Cancer account. So
what are your future plans?
Yeah, like you might have said it earlier, but what are you majoring in, and are you going to continue Whip once you graduate college?
So future plans is kind of up in the air, which is like weird for me to say because I like plan everything down. I have a list of like everything I need to do and like what's gonna happen in 6 months. Like I really do. I'm a big planner, but when it comes to Whip, like everything kind of just like comes naturally for me. Like I'll think of an idea when I'm like in the shower or like sleeping. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to make this new merchandise or so nothing's really planned. As far as like my major, I'm majoring in allied health with a concentration in physical therapy sciences. So I'm almost done with that. And I have to go to grad school. So as long as like the HIPAA and stuff permits, I will continue to visit the kids, but hopefully I'll be working in the physical therapy department at Sloan Kettering. And then that's where I'm going to have to like draw the line of like patients and like visitors because it gets tricky with like the hospital rules and stuff. But in that case, the hospital has already asked, like, can we please take over the foundation and stuff like that. So I would feel comfortable handing it over to them. Not yet, but eventually I think that's where it will go. And I'll always know like that I was the founder of this, and I'll obviously always know my accomplishments and stuff like that with who I've got to meet and stuff like that. But yeah,
I mean, that's an honor.
What about getting interns? I know, getting interns to do your job.
I know I could. That's what I keep thinking about. I'm like, maybe I'll just run Whip my whole life, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure yet.
Anything else you want to share?
I don't think so. If you guys have anything else.
No. I think.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
First, thank you for asking me. It's an honor.
And just being you. We're so excited to see you next time we're in New York. Right now, we don't know. It's still up in the air, right?
I know.
We plan our trips. We love to plan our trips around you.
I know. Well, I'll be home through August, so if at any point this clears up, I'll be there.
Have you heard anything about, Sloan or the Rondon or how the kids are doing?
I heard that there was a positive case at the Ronald McDonald House of COVID-19, but they said that everyone needs to like stay in their room and like they locked the kitchen and stuff like that. And I think that there were a few cases at Sloan, but I don't know like the people or anything like that. So I haven't really heard details, but obviously taking precautions. I think that Sloan Kettering, you guys probably saw on Facebook, is low on masks and stuff like that. So that's something I've been looking into, trying to help how we can get them masks somehow. But it's really crazy time.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for living your life on mission. Our thoughts and prayers are with you and especially everyone at Sloan Kettering and Rondon there.
In New York.
Yeah, same with you guys in Washington.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and like us on Facebook, follow our YouTube channel, and you can also reach us at www.onmission.tv, and we'll be releasing a new interview every Wednesday and Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So thank you to our first guest.
Thank you for having me.
Love you. You're awesome.
Love you guys.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.